Good, beautiful morning. And for those of you that have waited to hear this live event today with Archangel Michael, I want to say that your wait and your patience and your time will be well worth it. Today, Michael came to me to discuss the simple reality and the process of forgiveness. And if you understand this,
You're not live.
excuse me, just give me a moment, folks. I'm just trying to correct an error here. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Got Archangel Michael with me today, and we are going to really be hitting it up good. This is an opportunity for you and everyone watching right now to begin a process of liberating the human collective unconsciousness from fear, doubt, anger, guilt, shame. You can literally begin a process of liberating yourself from all of your suffering. All of your suffering, not some of it, all of it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Mary Gold. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Olena. Wow, we are making adjustments, and there's going to be changes to the format of our weekly show that are going to begin next week. We are going to change the structure that we will remain coming live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. The difference will be is on Monday and Wednesday, we will be bringing channeled messages from the masters, the ascended beings, multidimensional ones, the Pleiadians, and many, many others. And on Fridays, from this point forward, we're going to strictly focus on addressing your questions and answering them as you need them answered from your guides, your angels, and other multi-dimensional beings that work with you individually and humanity collectively, because this is a massive movement in consciousness happening on the planet today. And there's only two sides to this. There's either fear or there's love. There's only two kinds of energy available in the function of the human creative realm. Now, when Michael came to me this morning, he said it was really, really important for us to begin a process of understanding that we are creating in every moment of our conscious existence. You must understand that every thought you think and feel is a creative influence over your life and your experience. And as equally as you might think others are responsible for your suffering, you are creating that additionally too. And yet there is a very simple process for beginning to liberate yourself and those you love from suffering. This does not negate the things you need to do, the actions you need to take in order for this to work, but it will free your mind and your body from the energies that provide resistance to you functioning as you came here to function as an extension of love. If you recognize that thought and emotion are creative functions of consciousness that you have access to at any time, then it becomes important for you to understand what thoughts and what emotions you offer with those thoughts. Whether those thoughts are directed toward yourself or others, they create very specific conditions in your function of experiencing reality as you know it. This process of forgiveness that was offered several days ago, this process of forgiveness, which has been offered repeatedly by every great teacher that has come along and said, forgive, release, let go. It is important you understand that the function of forgiveness is freedom. The result is love, right action, compassion, kindness, patience. If you understand that your thoughts can be used in either fashion of love or fear, and that each of these constitutes the general experience of your life, then the thoughts that you're going to choose to think and the emotions that those thoughts will give life to, the emotions that those thoughts will give life to, are the life that you bear witness as your experience right now and in days to come. And yet it is in your capacity to rescind, transform, transmute, and change energy in the same fashion that all of you may do so, in the same fashion that all of you do, and all those that you would worship do. For those that you worship as gods or angels, divine entities, they too understand the function of creation and the nature of forgiveness as a process for reestablishing love as the dominant energy that you experience in your journey through creation and your participation in it. Many of you have turned to me to ask, Michael, can you please help me transmute these negative energies? Can you please help me overcome these things? And in many instances, I have offered you that light and that energy. And now it is time to recognize that you may offer yourself that light and that energy, that you are no different than I in your capacity to be deliberate in the function of your consciousness, changing the conditions of your life through the process of thinking and feeling. If you are willing to consider that what you offered to the world when you first began to think about it, what you offered to the world since you first began to think about it, is what you are experiencing right now. Every facet of the life that you find yourself in at this moment is precisely aligned to the nature and quality of your thoughts and the electrical emotions that those thoughts have generated as functions of creation. That all of your thoughts and emotions combined are an exact replication of your experience of your life where you are in the conditions of time and space right now. And your capacity to extend those energies into the world is unlimited. You can extend your love to the world. You can extend your fear to the world. You can extend your disappointment to the world. You can offer it to the world. You can also offer your love and your joy and your hope and your compassion. You can offer many qualities and varieties of energy to the world. But the ones I have come here to share with you that you must learn to transform and transmute, to rescind, withdraw, and release from your life and your world are those thoughts and emotions of what you would classify as a negative expression of anger or fear or rage or lust or desire or uncertainty. Your capacity is equal to that of all divine entities. Your capacity to alter and change the conditions of your experience of what you call your life, is equal to that of all the great masters. The difference being that they understood and understand the nature of thought and energy and how they choose to utilize it, create it, transform it, and transmute it. That is, to change energy from one state of expression into another, insofar as the way thought and the emotions thought generates operates. In other words, the thoughts that you generate electrically produce certain qualities of emotion that you embody and that you transmit to your world around you. And some of you can get so caught up in your pain and your suffering and you're thinking of the things that do not serve you, that you continue to experience them again and again, because that is all you're simply offering to the world and to yourself, to your own body. And yet, even in this moment, you may say, I have this thought that I don't like that neighbor. And then you may say, wait, that thought is a thought of harm and pain and anger. And I'm going to take that thought back from that person. I'm going to take that energy from them. You can do this right now. You can, any person, any space, any place, any time, over many dimensions and many timelines, you may withdraw your negative creations from the world around you and through all timelines. And you may say to the neighbor, then, I draw this thought of anger or judgment or fear from you. I draw it back to me. And I take that which I have created that does harm to that individual. I now take it and I release it from my life with love and grace. I release it from my life with love and grace. And you may do this very generally, in that you can sense or feel all of your anger, all of your fear, all of your guilt, you draw it back from the world. You draw it up and out of your body. Yes, you draw your anger. You draw your anger out of your body. You draw it up and out. You draw your fear, your guilt, your shame, your self-judgment. You draw it up and out. You draw it up and out, and you release it from your life with love and grace. You need not concern yourself with what time, with what lifetime, what time or space or dimension that you sowed these energies of suffering or fear. It does not matter where you sowed those energies, but it does matter that you say, I know I have done these things, I have thought these things, and I take them back. I pull this away from the life of this world. I take my anger, my fear, my judgment, even to those that are closest to me. I draw it from them. I bring it to myself. I draw it up out of my body, and I release this. I release this energy from my life with love and grace. It is important you understand that you have the same capacity to transform and transmute as does a tree, which takes what you call the dirt of the earth and it adorns itself in a new crown of life. A tree does this. A bird does this. All life does this. Only in the realm of humanity do we see you struggling with learning this process. But it is equally as easy for you as it is for the tree, although you do not need to understand the mechanisms of transmutation, but you need to understand that the mechanism of transmutation does work. If you're hearing these words now and understanding their meaning, then consider this to your governments, to those that you think have done you wrong. Pull your judgment back from them. Pull your judgment back from them. And pull that judgment out from your body with your breath. You can will this to be so. Thy will be done. You may draw your anger, your judgment, your fear, your uncertainty, your guilt, your shame, your anger, your rage. You may draw all these things back and say, I will take this back from my life. You do not want these things in your life anymore, do you? Do you wish to be in pain and suffering? Then take it back from your world. You can assert your will and draw that back and release it from your mind and your body and from this world with love and grace. With love and grace. And if you embrace this process wholeheartedly, you will begin to feel the awakening in your body, the lightness that begins to happen. That feeling of cleanliness that occurs energetically in your body when you pull out judgment. When you pull out judgment and you pull out fear and you pull out anger and you pull out disappointment and you pull out your helplessness and your hopelessness, you pull it out from your life and you pull it out from the lives of others. For those of you that choose to walk this way, it shall not be long before you begin to see that indeed the world becomes a better place where you are. Do not worry about the world as a whole, but only about that which you can be aware of at this time. But I can assure you that when you draw your suffering from your life, you will relieve yourself from suffering. If you draw anger from your heart, you will restore peace. It is what you are capable of doing, all of you. And so in this process of liberation, of saying, I take back from the world that which I've given it that does not serve it, and I release that from my mind and my body with love and grace. I release my anger, my fear. I release it. And in that act of your will, if you are truly sincere in liberating it from you, you will feel the light, the lightness in the body that happens when you remove the burden of your rage, or you remove the burden of your sadness, or you remove the burden of your hopelessness. And then even in the darkest places where you release your hopelessness and your helplessness, a light will come to you, and you will know the truth, and it will set you free. You have the same capacity to change qualities of energy as any that has walked this earth before you, that has achieved that place that you so say, I would love to go to this place of heaven, which is here and now. It is always here and now. And it is my hope today that you will explore and experience this simple process of forgiveness, of taking out from your body your anger. Your body cannot live as it was intended when you carry with it the burden of your anger or your shame. Lift it up from yourself. Draw it out. I take this shame and I release it with love and grace. It cannot be any simpler than this. It cannot be any simpler than this. And so you still may turn to many of us and ask for our guidance and our help and our support. But within you is the same great potential that you would see and adore in others. You cannot find in another's house what is already within your own. And yet many of you will adore and worship others, not realizing the very thing that you wish to adore and worship is within you. And in the process of liberating yourself from your sense of worthlessness, of saying, I release this thought, I release this feeling from my body with love and grace. I pull it out of my body with love and grace and I release it. And if in sincerity you do these things, you will find and experience a most wonderful sensation of your own divinity, knowing that you too are as those that you would adore, capable and able to manifest, transform, and transmute many conditions and experiences of being. One of the things I want to share with you about Archangel Michael too, that he's been with me for many lifetimes, and particularly this one, and he responds like all of the Ascended Masters. When they are called, they do respond. They really, really do. They don't function on the same level of dimensionality that most of us do as physical bodies, as individuals separate from things. Their awareness is not localized to a single body. The awareness of an Ascended Master, of many multidimensional beings, many of the Pleiadians, many of the galactics, their awareness is not egocentric. In other words, not caught up in just who they are. Their awareness expands. They do not view themselves as separate from everything else. They see themselves as an integral part of everything, and they have a responsibility over it. It's one of the reasons why this earth is still together, is because there's beings upon this planet that literally hold a vibration of love so profoundly in their consciousness with their awareness. They expand their awareness out and encompass all things with it, that the planet stays intact and things haven't shaken apart. It's very fascinating when you understand how these beings can do this. Got a question from Rachel Spawn. Thank you for that super chat, Rachel. Yeah, if you want to support this channel, use the super chat feature. Use the super thanks if you're watching the replay. You can also support this channel through my Patreon page, patreon.com/WingMikeForce. Please support this channel if you feel so inclined and you've gotten some value from here. Rachel's asking, does Michael have a message for me? He's laughing right now. He's saying, if you have been listening, then you have heard. If you have not listened, then you have not heard. Thank you, Rachel. It's so important you understand this. Yes. A question. Yes. Hello, Gina. Hello, everybody. I'm using a new format called StreamYard. So it's going to take me a couple of days, three-dimensionally speaking, to get familiar with it. But it's important you understand that what's going to be coming through in the next couple of months is very important. What Michael's been saying today is of monumental and simple significance, that you do not have to hold on to your anger, your shame, your guilt, your shame, your pain. You can literally, as an act of your will, draw it out of your body, draw it away from the world, because your anger, wherever you put it, whether you put it on politicians, you got anger about money, or you got anger about relationships, your anger keeps it in your life. As long as you hold it in your body, you hold it in your world. And they keep telling me this over and over again, that they can't make it any simpler than this. They keep saying, we can't make it any simpler than this. That you may lift your burden. You may bear it up and release it. Release it. And it becomes very exciting. Wonderful. Just scrolling down. Yes. A question from Michael Stevens. Would it serve me on my spiritual journey to visit Mount Shasta? I get a very strong yes, but in terms of your spiritual journey, it's more going to be enlightening you to the fact that humanity is not alone. There are beings there that you'll connect to that are not from this physical planet, but they're part of this physical dimension, just from a different planetary system. Mount Shasta and many other places are well noted for these things. And I have a friend who's actually sent me a picture of somebody that manifested themselves as a being of light on the road in front of him. So I know that these beings exist, and we know that there are so many things we don't know. I know very little altogether. Question from Lauren. How have I been doing trying to release all pain? Again, it is not a matter of releasing your pain, but transforming it through an act of your will, to take it back into you, to release it with love and grace. Then that which you call pain, by your love and grace, gets transformed. By your love and grace gets transformed. And even if you do not understand the vibration of love or grace, the very nature of the structure of words is that they are very precise in how they do organize vibrations. Your ancient languages of Latin were the primary ways of trying to utilize spiritual energy in very specific functions. English has become the most sophisticated language for being able to precisely structure the manifestation of energy into very specific outcomes. If you understand the nature of words, then to release your anger, your sadness, your pain, to release it with love and grace will transform and transmute it. Those words, I release this with love and grace. I release my fear. I release my anger. Always out from the top of the body. Always out through the top with love and grace. Always with love and grace. You cannot release anger with anger. You cannot release fear with fear. You can release it with love and grace. You'll transform it and transmute it for love and grace. And for those of you that are applying this process, you will feel the lightness in your body begin to grow. And even if you're suffering from disease, the same process is true. There are emotions and thoughts connected to what you suffer with, are there not? There are emotions and thoughts connected with what you suffer. Draw your suffering out. Release your suffering with love and grace. So many of you are inclined to attack and burn and harm that which displeases you. And yet you seek to find relief from your suffering by attack. You shall not find it in such a fashion. Only through love and grace will you find true relief from your suffering. Wow, thank you so much. Great question, Michael. Thank you so much for that. Yes, I'm going through this. This is beautiful. Question from Rue Lorca. What master is working with me at this time? Any message on connecting for communication? Thank you. Again, I'm being told to tell you all masters that you would open yourself up to, those of a high quality and those of a low quality, all are available to all. You may call upon any and they will respond to you if you are able to hear. And many of you call but do not have the ears to hear nor the eyes to see. Many of you are beginning to awaken to their presence in your life. But please understand the nature and quality of your energy, your emotion, your thought determines what you can and cannot see. It is hard to see the light when you're in the darkness unless you choose to look for the light. And you must understand this process of saying, I feel this despair, I feel this loss, I feel this hurt. You become aware of these things and you say, this I shall take from me. I shall take this from my life. You draw it up. And you release your pain, your suffering with love and grace. You release it with love and grace. And be persistent in this, for it shall much sooner come to pass that you will be liberated from your suffering thusly. Again, you must know the truth from within yourself to truly be free. You may hear these words and sense the truth of them, but the truth must reside in your own heart. You must bring it into your own heart. And the way you bring it into your own heart is through the experience of it. And so if you are able to turn and liberate yourself from your despair and say, I will take this despair up and I shall release it from my body and from my world with love and grace, you can draw. The function of forgiveness is not limited to you. For all that you are connected with in your world right now are bound by the same cloth. And those that suffer are bound by the cloth of suffering. Those that love are bound by the cloth of love. If you understand these simple words, then you can simply, again, withdraw your suffering from all that you are connected to and release it with love and grace. In that sense, when you begin to do that, you become your brother's keeper in a very unique and wonderful way that has always been there. As equally as you can become your brother's enemy by your fear. By your love, you may become his brother. Wow, thank you so much. Great question, Rue. A question from Faradiba. Is there anything else that Archangel Michael wishes to say to me in my clearing process? Please, please, and thank you. He's laughing in joy. He's saying you are like the little child that is seeking approval, but I can say to you that you are in accordance with the truth if you've heard these words and you apply them in your life. And only through its application can you live in the truth. For to simply hear the words is not to know the truth, but to live the truth is to know it. Wow. Thank you, Fire Diva. Really appreciate that. Question from Michelle. What can I do about the infection on my lips and face? Yes, so much bitterness there. Yes. Take the bitterness from your words. Take the bitterness from your thoughts. Like literally all of these feelings that you have around these things. Take them up as I have described that you should do. Draw your irritation, your frustration, and your bitterness take your bitterness up, away from your face. Draw your bitterness away from your face and release it with love and grace. Do this in all sincerity. Do this in truth, that you pull from the body what no longer serves you. As you look in the mirror with the disappointment and oftentimes the disgust that is not representative of who you truly are, draw all of that out. Draw that disgust, all of it from you. Take it up. Draw it up with your breath. Release it with your love and grace. And lo, you will experience the sensations will change in the face as you pull those and transmute those energies out from it. Your body is a temple in which you house many things, many thoughts, many ideas. But do this in all sincerity, and you'll see what will come to life in 3 days from this moment. In 3 days from this moment, where you choose to say, I will draw my bitterness, I will draw my sadness, I will draw my fear from my body, from my face, from my organs, from my nerves, from my gland. I will draw this out and I will release it with love and grace. We keep it as simple as possible to release these with love and grace. You need not concern yourself with how that process transforms or transmutes these energies, but please understand that it works as easily as you know that when you drink water, it quenches your thirst. So too this does likewise, except now you are purifying your energy as a function of your will and your divine capabilities. Wow, thank you so much. Someone's saying, William, I understand to offer it up or by my will to release my anger, shame, etc. But I don't think I am doing that well. I think I am causing more problems in my life. Am I doing okay? Even this thought that you are not doing well, even this thought that you are not doing well has a creation to it. And you must say, when that thought comes up, I draw this out from my mind and body. I draw this thought, this feeling that I'm not doing well. I draw the thought and the feeling out and I release it with love and grace. And in that, there is a process of restoration. When you begin to draw out from your life your pain, your suffering, then something else comes to replace it that is not that which it was. And so be patient and kind with you for those that struggle and wonder, am I doing well enough? What you are doing is always well enough to the degree that you are doing it. And you are simply revealing that you know you can do even more if you so choose. But I am not here to insist that you be one way or another, but I'm here to offer you a possible way to relieve yourself from what is unnecessarily a part of your life as a function of your not understanding that you can alter and change energy. But any thought that you are not doing well, any thought that you've done something wrong, any self-judgment or judgment upon others, take them back. Take that back and release it from your life, and you shall see what will unfold around you. I cannot make it any simpler than this. This is the simplest it can be stated. Thank you, Gina. Wow. Wonderful, wonderful. Congratulations, Nancy. Yeah, it's wonderful when you have healings like that. Question from Co-Creed TV from Lauren. I had a strange, vivid dream about Alpha Centauri and a civilization over there. Was this astral traveling or other lifetimes? It is both. For that civilization is more evolved than what you remember, but you are doing both. And again, this is a time of awakening, a time of ascension, where you have the opportunity to recognize what your nature is as a soul, as a spirit of universal light that functions across many platforms of experience, except you seem to be localized, what your conventional psychology calls egocentric to that physical body that you find yourself in, not realizing that that physical body is but one locus of infinite possible locations of consciousness. as easily as you can locate your awareness to the space and time 100 feet in front of you, above you, or behind you. You locate your awareness here, you may locate your awareness anywhere, but this is difficult conception to grasp when you believe that the finite conception that you call that body is the only locus of your identity. If you believe that that's all you are, just that physical body, then you'll be hard pressed to consider these possibilities as being real. Thank you. Yes. Well, congratulations, Madeline. That's wonderful. So wonderful. Got some new comments here. Wow. You're very welcome, Drusilla. It's interesting. For those of you that understand the work that's being transmissioned through this body and my partner Norma's body, we are here to literally bring about the manifestation of the human soul as a phenomenon that's universal to everyone, to realize that you are not just a body. You're not just a finite personality. You are a sentient awareness, a consciousness, a soul that has a mind and has a body to utilize in the process of understanding and experiencing the function of creation that you can create. I like what Michael said earlier when he was saying that even the trees understand the function of transmutation and creation, that they take this stuff that we call dirt from the soil and they adorn it, they take it and they bring it up and it becomes these incredible leaves that we see on them. They literally do that all the time. We can do the same thing with the dirt in our lives, the anger, the fear, the guilt, the shame. I love what he said. I hope you heard that. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it again, because you deserve to be free. You did not come here to suffer. You came here to learn the function of creation so that you can become conscious of who you are as a spiritual entity that can live in many, many spaces, places, and times. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, if you ever want to support the channel, use the super chat feature when I'm live. Use the super thanks feature if you're reviewing the videos. Please give this video a thumbs up and let others know. Share it. Subscribe to the channel. Get this information out to other people. For those of you that want to learn more about connecting to your guides, your angels, also to connect to your higher self, to other multidimensional beings, to learn that, there's a process for learning that. I encourage you to go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and sign up for our mediumship masterclasses, which will really help connect you in profound and simple ways. And again, we've got many students that will attest to that, some of whom are here today. They're life-changing. You did not come to this planet to suffer. You came here to create, to know that you have a function that's beyond suffering. Suffering is not necessary when you know the nature of who you are as a spiritual consciousness. Anyway, I'm delighted and honored that you guys came out today. And I want to say much love, and again, I want you to remind you the format of our weekly show is changing. We will still continue to come live Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays for the meditation. But we're going to change Fridays to strictly being questions and answers, where I'm going to open to connecting to your guides and your angels and the ascended beings that you work with, the multidimensionals, the galactics, whomever you're working with. You can use Friday for you, so that you can get the questions that are central to your immediate life and the transformative processes that you're in. So that's what Friday's going to be. On Monday and Wednesday, we will continue, of course, to bring the unique and wonderful and delightful messages from the beings that come through and are available to all of us. I'm delighted and honored and privileged to work with the ascended masters, to work with the multidimensional beings, the Pleiadians, the galactics, the divine collectives that I get to work with. And inside every one of you is a place where you can connect to those beings in your life, because they do respond to you. They're individuals. They just don't have a finite form like you do. They don't have a body in the same structure. You know, something that came to me the other day was a conversation I had with Master Jesus and Michael, and they were saying the reason Houdini couldn't come back is because when you leave a personality that you've experienced, you don't go back to it. He said that he came back, but he did not come back as Houdini, and he didn't remember that he was Houdini. But there are processes that you can learn to remember and recollect past lives, because they actually existed. You've lived in many lifetimes. It's just that when you leave one personality and you come into a new one, it's literally like you've forgotten that one, but it's still within your DNA, biological DNA, to access that memory and that information, or what some people call the Akashic record, which is a field of limitless potential of energy and information that you can learn to access. I was really excited to hear that we can actually access other lifetimes. People like Dolores Cannon have been doing that for quite some time. Brian Weiss, another person that's been very intimately connecting to past lives. His book, Many Lives, Many Masters, a profound book to read. I never read it, but I know it's a profound book from what I've felt and experienced as a spiritual medium. Being able to connect to all these beings and people's other lifetimes is pretty amazing. And you have that available too. So go check out my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and consider joining us. This weekend we start our 103 Masterclass, which is all about astral traveling and astral projection and many other facets of spiritual evolution, skill sets you can develop in the function of creation while you're here in this physical dimension. And again, if you want to join our patrons group, patreon.com/William Michael Forbes, you can support me through that channel as well. And you get to participate in a monthly live event that's exclusive to patrons. And you also get to experience the opportunity to ask a question every month. And we also do a monthly draw for a free reading to anybody who's a patron member. They get once a month we do a draw. So you can get those benefits as well. Again, I want to thank all of you for coming out and joining us here on this beautiful day. And I want to wish you all much love. And for those of you that are joining us on the 103 Masterclass, I'm excited and looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. in the orientation. And I want to wish everybody much, 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 much love. You did not come here to suffer. You came here to create. And please subscribe to the channel. Share this information with other people. You did not come here to suffer. And I watch people sometimes walking down the street, and they're physically struggling, and you can see the pain and the suffering in their eyes, and they keep going through their suffering. Why do people keep going when they're suffering? Because they know that's not their natural state of being. You did not come here. Everybody knows this. Everybody. People in states of physical dis-ease, people in states of despair, they keep going because they know it's not their natural state. And this information and knowledge that's coming through gives them the opportunity to liberate themselves from their own suffering and to restore themselves to joy and light and possibilities. So share this information with other people. Share it. Do not keep love and joy to yourself. It's meant to be shared. Stop sharing your fear and your anger and your doubt and your fear. Start sharing all your love and your wonderful, magical, beautiful self with the world. I want to wish you all much love, and I look forward to seeing you guys at 10 a.m. on the meditation tomorrow on Supernatural Saturday. And again, I look forward to seeing you guys on Monday on Shortcuts for Your Soul. Have yourselves a wonderful, a joyful day.